Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast presented by the World of Football. I'm your host, Kyle Sutherland, and I am joined by my co host and brother in law, Adam Snow. And Adam, I got to tell you what, after that game, I am just drinking this blue Kool-Aid. All right.
Doesn't even look like the right color blue, so I knew you'd screw that up. So,
well, that's all they had.
Hey, I almost thought about doing the same bit. I almost bought some blue Kool-Aid, but I was like, you know what? I might need another couple weeks, but we have something fun to talk about today.
Yes, we do. And speaking of that, the Lions won. But
yes, they did.
Yep, and they won pretty big.
We'll dive all into that one.
Yep, and speaking of which, on today's show, we're going to go over the Lions' Week 3 win over the Green Bay Packers, and then look ahead to the Week 5 matchup against the Carolina Panthers. And speaking of that, we got breaking news, which we will talk about also. But first, we want to thank you for checking out our podcast, whether that's on YouTube channel or on a podcast platform of choice. You can find the World of Football and its many offerings on multiple social media platforms. Just check down in the description. And if you want to jump around, you can use our nifty timestamps, also located down in the description. So if you want to jump around, we made it easy for you. So now let's begin with this week's show. Okay.
All right. I know you're excited.
Yeah. We have the Lions 34 beating up those Green Bay Packers cheese lovers 20. We had let's talk about this first half. The Lions had 27, Green Bay's had 3 points. And I think their total offensive yardage was like 20 or something, I think.
Yeah. It was crazy.
So
that might have been one of the greatest first halves of Lions football I've ever watched. I don't know about you. Very reminiscent to how I felt was last season. I went to the Lions Commanders game week 2 of last season, and they were up 22-0 at halftime. And it was just like, wow, the Lions look great. They, keep the pedal to the metal. It was kind of the same story with this game. We'll talk about the second half. But that first half, from Goff's opening drive interception, which made you just kind of go,
oh, yeah.
uh-oh. Like, uh-oh. But the defense held strong. I don't think the Packers gained any yardage on that drive. Kicked the field goal, so they're up 3-0 to start the game. It's like, all right, I guess it could have been worse. And then immediately after that, Detroit put together 3 or 4 straight scoring drives. They just marched down the field. Marched right down the field. They punched it in, and they just showed that they were clearly the better team. They were clearly the hungrier team, and they were as far as like compared to past Lions teams. This is a team that seems like through 4 weeks of the season, just put that disclaimer out there, that this is a team that if they get punched in the mouth, they're going to come back, and they're not going to let that phase them. Like, you might get that interception now, but we're going to come back, and we're going to get things right. Like, we're not going to panic. And it felt great. That first half, we'll talk about the second half, because that was a little different feeling. But that first half, that's how it felt. It was very, very fun.
Yeah, that first half, like you're saying, after that interception, I was like, oh, good God, here we go. We're going to have another Jordan Love's going to have a breakout game. He's just going to walk all over us, and here we go. But, they hauled them to the field goal, and then Detroit just took over that first half. Like, offense, defense, it was just awesome. But, before we talk about that second half, let's just go over some stats here, and then we'll get into this what the heck happened this second half of the game. So, we had Lions, Jared Goff, 19 of 28 for 210 yards. He also, he's got those legs moving. He has 2 carries for 10 yards, threw for 1 touchdown, and he had that 1 interception at the beginning of the game. We had Jahmyr Gibbs, 8 carries for 40 yards, also 4 catches for 11 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 5 catches for 56 yards and 1 touchdown. Did that Lambeau leap. Had some substance poured on him, which thanks
Yeah, come
Green Bay
on,
for that.
man. Like, come on. I hope that guy gets banned for life. Uncalled
Yeah,
for.
for people were saying it wasn't an alcoholic drink, it was something else. But come on, you
It
can't
doesn't
be doing
matter. You
that.
don't pour crap on people. Come on, man.
Yeah, yeah. What can you do? Anyways, we got David Montgomery.
You don't pour stuff on people. That's what you can't. That's
Well,
what you
yeah,
can do.
Lions fans won't do that, but cheap, dirty Packers fans will. But we got David Montgomery, the star of the game here, at 32 carries for 121 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also had 2 catches for 20 yards. Sam Laporta had 4 catches for 56 yards, and Josh Reynolds showed up this week for 3 catches for 69 yards. And on the Packers side, we had Jordan Love for 23 of 36 for 246 yards, ran in for a touchdown with 2 interceptions, and threw for 1 touchdown. Aaron Jones didn't have a good game. He had 5 carries for 18 yards and 1 catch for a negative 4 yards. Romeo Dobbs had 9 catches for 95 yards. Jaden Reed had 3 catches for 55 yards. And Christian Watson, first game back for the season, had 2 catches for 25 yards and 1 touchdown. Total yards for the game, Lions had 401 yards and Packers had 230 yards. Time of possession, Lions dominated with 37 minutes and 58 seconds, and Packers 22 minutes and 2 seconds. So, yeah. As you can see, the Lions did dominate this game, and it was, again, fun to watch. But
It
a
was
few
very
keynotes
fun.
here.
Very fun.
Oh, yeah. To me, it's like same as last week. As soon as the second half hit, the offense just looked shaky. It was the whole third quarter. They just couldn't figure out what they had to do to keep the ball, keep driving down the field. But as the fourth quarter hit, they started like clicking again. So I don't know if it's you're coming out of the half, you're trying to figure out what adjustments the opponent's defense is doing to adjust to it. So I think that might be it. Same with the defense coming out of the half for the Lions, maybe the same way. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Adam?
I mean, to me, it was more, and I it was very clear. And I tweeted that out that it seemed like the Lions came out in the second half. You know, Green Bay goes down. And they had that great drive to start the second half, which is whatever. The Lions defense did look like they were willing to give up some 5 or 6 yard plays here and there, let Green Bay kind of take some clock out of it. They're down by 24 points at that point. But then the offense gets on the field, and they were playing to not lose. And I don't understand that strategy going into that spot. You were up 24 points. Green Bay goes down, gets the score, and was it the first drive they got the 2-point conversion, right? So it was 27-11, right? So
Yep.
you get the ball back, and as an offense, they looked anemic. They looked like they couldn't do anything. And I don't understand why at that point you just don't keep doing what you were doing. They couldn't stop you. And eventually they get back to that. And what did they do? They had the 14-play drive with Montgomery leading the way, just getting those big chunk plays. They're doing things here. They're looking like a team that, is trying to win the game, not the other version of them, which was they're playing to not lose, which doesn't work for them because it gives the other team opportunities to kind of like, oh, they're not going to be aggressive. So we can kind of be a little more aggressive and stop them, which is what Green Bay did. That defense, your former Michigan man, Rashawn Gary, hell of an athlete. I want to give him some credit on that. He was the best defensive player out there. And I just, every time he was like getting through the line, I mean, it was because the Lions just didn't seem like they had something schemed up to where Goff could just quickly get rid of it. When they eventually started to, and Goff took a couple of big sacks, it was when they were like, oh, yeah, it's 3rd and 15. We should probably try to do something now. Like, where was that? Like, it just, to me, it was just very frustrating, that whole third quarter, because in the pit of my stomach, I started getting that unfortunate, bred in us Lions feeling of, oh, no, we're going to screw this up. We were up so big, and now we're going to, like, that's what I was feeling like. I had to put my phone down eventually because I was, like, tweeting my frustration because on top of the Lions doing that, the referees, and I want to talk about the referees were helping Green Bay also get back into this game. I'm not saying that every single call was bad or unwarranted, but the Anzalone shoulder hit inbounds was ridiculous. The not calling stopping the clock at 0 seconds at the end of the third quarter, ridiculous. And the fact that that is unreviewable is also madness, and the NFL needs to change that like ASAP, because I don't see why that shouldn't be reviewable. Like, what are we doing here? We have the technology. You can go in and go, oh yeah, they didn't get the playoff, so we're just going to call that dead and start it over, fourth quarter. But I digress on that, and I think the Lions got a little bit, just a tiny bit. I bet you somebody from the league office called the officials because the Lions kicked that one field goal to go up 30 to 20. Yeah, it was 30 to 20, right? They go up, or
it's like 30
to 17.
11. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, whatever they got. Yeah, because it was at the end of the game. They got the field goal, and then they go to commercial, and they come back, and that's when they said, "Oh, by the way, it was a penalty on Green Bay." So I feel like in that commercial break, somebody from the league office called them and said, you kind of jobbed Detroit just a little bit. Let's give them that one. Like, which it should have been a penalty from the beginning. Guy jumping over the line, the same guy from last year who pushed a medical trainer. So I don't know. It seemed like this was a game that could have easily have been same old Lions. Could have been, that fearful, we blew it mentality that as a Lions fan we've had to deal with, like my lifetime, at least your lifetime, and they didn't. At the end of the day, they did not, and this is the big difference with this team.
Yeah, like you were saying, like they drove down, they got that touchdown 2-point conversion, but was it that? Like it started turning around when when Jerry Jacobs got that interception from Anzalone tip? Was it that third quarter?
That was the tip was in the first half, was it not?
First half.
I think that was the first half.
But yeah, I don't know. Could be wrong. But either that or the defense started like getting after the quarterback again. So, but yeah, like they ran Montgomery like one play for like 4 yards. He ran out. Gibbs came in, and it's like they tried and run the same play with Gibbs like up the middle, and he just gets stuffed. Like it's the fourth game in the season. We should know by now that hey, maybe we got to stop running Gibbs up the middle. Like run him off to the in between the tackles and the guard, or make an out route for him, or do something. Like just stop running them up the middle.
I think so during the game, Randy was over, Dad was over watching the game with me here, and towards the end of the game, Montgomery even ran like a nice like end around, not an end around, but he kind of did like a sweep to the left and had so much field, and it was just like it doesn't matter what running back we have. And Dad was like, for all these years, the Lions always want to run up the middle, and it usually never works. Fortunately for the Lions, Montgomery is a great north-south runner, and that dude has been getting some yardage. But they need to run more to the outside. There was clearly stuff there to where you've got the talent, receivers and linemen, to do all that blocking stuff. Because it seemed like any time we got to the outside, they're going to hit a hole. You have the speed and Gibbs to do that. And I want to talk about the Gibbs-Montgomery thing in a second with you. But I don't know. I just feel like they're still figuring out exactly what they want to do with this Gibbs-Montgomery partnership. And I can see, personally, I think I know kind of what they're trying to aim for with it. I feel like a lot of fans don't, and they're getting upset because their fantasy team has Gibbs on it and he's not getting the carries they think he should. But I wanted to ask you, because I had people hit me up saying, oh, why aren't the Lions starting Gibbs instead of Montgomery? Like, you drafted him 12th overall. Shouldn't he be the lead back? And I want to hear your opinion on this before I chime in.
No, they shouldn't. They should have Montgomery as a lead back because he's proven through the league or his years playing that he's a great back. He's a great north to south runner. He knows how to find holes, get you the extra 3 to 4 yards instead of going down for like a 3 yard gain. I mean, if you got him, use him. Like, let's not burn Gibbs out right away and have him hurt like first half of the season. Then we got to wait a whole another year to see what he can do. Let's just ease him in. He's gonna get better through the year. Like, he's gonna kind of have a breakout game, and everyone's gonna forget about it. So yeah, if you got Montgomery, use him. Why not? Like, today's
Yeah.
the day, or like, this game was like, yeah, this is why we got Montgomery, because he's just a workhorse and he knows what he's doing. He knows how to run. So yeah, let's just use him.
Yeah, I feel exactly like I think they've got Gibbs, who is more than a running back. Like they clearly want to make him the Debo Samuel of the Lions, where he lines up in the slot, he lines up out wide, he lines up at running back. He does almost anything, and we saw him in motion so much, and that's got to draw the eye of the defense. And you know what that probably does? Oh, a linebacker is probably going to follow Gibbs off there, and what does that do? That causes when Montgomery takes a handoff up the middle, he's going to have one less dude to worry about, and he's going to get that extra yardage. I think Ben Johnson is doing a great job as coordinator for the most part. Like I said, some of the iffy play calling when you're playing not to lose. But I think the way they're using these two guys, they have a plan. It's there. And I don't need Gibbs to be the, like we saw him last week against Atlanta. He got the bulk of the carries. We saw him as the featured back. Clearly, right now, the strong suit for him, despite having the great O-line, is not the North and South. It is getting out, and it is using him in such a way that where you're going to dump it off to him, or you're going to find him on a slant pass, or if they keep playing him out wide, he's eventually going to be one of those guys they're going to try to throw over the top too. Like, I'm waiting for that play to develop at some point. That looks like that's something they might eventually set up with him. And then we'll talk about another certain Lion player that we might be getting back this week, also taking the top off of a defense. So it's like they have all this stuff, and we're 4 weeks in, Kyle. Why would you even show any of the good stuff right now? If you got those plays in the playbook, you can wait a few weeks. You can wait a few weeks before you start unleashing some of the good stuff, and you're winning without having to really. Like, they had the one great reverse play that was it Raymond went 40 yards.
Yep.
Like, that was the one trickeration. And I was waiting for a fake punt all night long. I was waiting for a fake punt, but Ben Johnson, he dials up the right trick play at the right time. And so I'm thinking he's got a bunch of stuff in his back pocket waiting for Jameson Williams and Gibbs and Amon-Ra and Laporte and all these guys to be on the field at the same time, because they're going to be doing some special stuff. And I'll stop talking. I'll let you take it over.
Yeah, like you were saying, like, yeah, I feel like once Williams comes back, like, it's just going to be a different kind of game. Like, you're going to have Gibbs on the lining up outside, Montgomery in the backfield, Williams on the outside with Laporta, even Amon-Ra St. Brown out there. Like, what are you going to do? Who are you going to cover? You're going to have Williams go an out route, kind of spread the field defense out, and then you throw it to Gibbs in the open, and boom, he's gone. Like,
Speed, yeah.
Once that happens, like, everyone's going to shut up and be like, oh my God, Gibbs is just great. This guy's awesome. It's just, you just got to wait until we get the weapon Williams back out there, spreading the defense out, creating plays for everyone else. That's what we need.
Yeah. I'm fine with if the plan for the next couple of years, because you got Montgomery, what was on a 3-year deal? They signed him to in the offseason. So say hypothetically you keep him the full duration of the contract, 3 years, he's your featured back. I'm okay for 3 years having Montgomery be that dude that's going to get the 3-4 yard chunk plays you need him. And while yes, right now Gibbs is averaging more per carry, but I'd rather see his stat line be he caught 5 passes for 60 yards and he ran the ball 6 or 7 times and still got 50, 60 yards, something crazy like that. Like, I think that's his type of role that he's going to have. That he's going to be more than just your bell cow running back. That's why they got him. That's why I think they went with him over Bijan Robinson, who's great, and I think he'll be a great running back, for years to come. But I just think Gibbs is going to be a different type. He's going to be that Deebo Samuel, Cordell Patterson type player for the Lions, who will also happen to probably at some point take a bulk of the carries as well.
Yeah, I want to go back. I just want to see like all these big time running backs like McCaffrey, uh, shoot, the Tennessee running
Derrick
back
Henry.
who's not really doing anything this year. See what kind of stats they're pulling, like their first 4 games into the season when they were rookies. See if it all lines up. See if they're getting more touches or if they're kind of sat back and kind of waited. But I feel like, yeah, what the Lions are doing with them is the right decision.
I mean, and for that, the comparison, I don't know if that'll be fair because were either of those guys, and I can't remember at the top of my head, top 12 picks in the draft. I don't think they were. So Gibbs has got some different. Gibbs has got some different expectation put on him. Bijan Robinson's got different expectations on him because they're first round, top half of the draft picks at a position that people are starting to devalue. And so it's either like, oh, if you draft a guy that high, you got to get him out there. He's got to be running the ball more. And it's y'all need to just settle down and let the Lions. They drafted him for a reason. We all see the highlight of when they drafted Gibbs, how excited they were. They have a plan. Relax. Just let them do their thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What else you want to get to?
Let's talk about the Detroit Lions defensive front. They had 5 sacks this game. And also, that defense only allowed 27 yards of rushing this whole game. The Packers' big thing with them is they were talking about Aaron Jones is coming back. They're just going to run it with Aaron Jones. And yeah, that didn't happen. Again, Detroit shows up and they don't let the teams run, so they force them to throw. And when you got a team that's just got to throw all the time, the defensive front is going to get in there, get to the quarterback, either pressure them or sack them like they did this game with 5. I mean, yeah, that's just the formula for success to stop them 3 and out, get the offense back on the field, and score some points.
Yeah, I mean, that what was it? The crazy stat was the Lions were getting like 55% or something like that, like pressure against the Packers. Like 55% of the time they were getting pressure, and they didn't blitz except for one time in the first half, and that was like the last play of the first half.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
They were getting there with 4 dudes. The rotation they're doing, moving Hutchinson around, while they said in the broadcast he's not crazy about being moved around, but I think it's working for him a little bit. At times it does look like, a guard inside the interior of the line kind of can have their way with Hutchinson a little bit, but then that opens up for some of these other guys, Kaminsky, Bugs, a couple of the linebackers get in there. It's just they're playing fantastic. They have a great rotation of guys. And Hutchinson's motor, I'm surprised you're not even rocking a Hutchinson jersey today because I thought he was phenomenal. But
oh yeah,
the dude shows you why he was the number 2 overall pick. Runner up to Defensive Rookie of the Year last year, and right now he might be playing like a Defensive Player of the Year, like just outright.
Yeah. Once he gets to season goes on, he starts playing these teams that the offensive line isn't very good. You create pressure with other people, and he's just gonna come in and just clean it up, or they're gonna not double cover him on accident, and he's gonna break loose off the tackle and go in there for a sack. But yeah, I mean,
He's so fun to watch. Good
he
Lord,
even
I
had
love watching it.
Darius Slay even say, "Man, Aiden Hutchinson is a top 10 defensive lineman." So
yeah,
that's a big shout out there.
High praise from one of the best corners in the league.
We also had Brian Branch, 5 tackles. He had one beautiful pass breakup, but then he got hurt. and I was freaking out. Like I was like, "Oh my god!" Because he started touching his ankle. It's like, "Oh, here we go. We got a blown, was it ACL or whatever they call it
Yeah,
around that
that and
area?"
Achilles. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Carted
then
him
they
off.
went, carted him off, took him for X-rays, found out nothing's broke, and then a few plays later, they pan out to the um, Detroit Lions sideline, and they're taping him up. I'm like, oh my god, he's coming back, which he did, and I was like, all right, here we go. But then he gets hurt again, and I'm like, okay, it's time for him to sit out. Don't need to come back in. Like,
Yeah.
just he doesn't need to get hurt.
Branch, right? Yeah, Branch has been. He's got the fight in him. He's got that dog in him. He is going to be one of the best players on our defense for years to come. And yeah, he shouldn't have come back. I think after that first injury, when he got nicked up the second time, I'm like, all right, yeah, dude, just take a breather. You got 9 days off or whatever it's going to be between now and the next game. Just take it easy. We don't need you getting hurt. We're in a decent spot at the time. But the dude shows up. The dude makes plays, and the dude is vital to this defense. And it sucks seeing him get hurt that first time. It was very worrisome. But that toughness of him coming back out there, that endures you to a team, like even more so than he already was.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's gonna play in Carolina Panthers. Like, if he's a little dinged up, it's whatever. But if he's able to play, he's gonna be out there.
Yeah, he
Uh,
will for sure. And a few extra days of rest, that'll do him some good.
yeah, and then one more thing I want to get to. Jerry Jacobs. I know he's gotten a lot of attention with the way he's playing, the way he's getting all these flags thrown on him. But yeah, he came out with two big plays, interceptions, to kind of seal the deal. That last interception he got, kind of seal the game away. Like, it's very impressive
Yeah,
for Jacobs to get two interceptions that game.
yeah. He thanked Anzalone for the first one, and then he pretty much just read that route and jumped jumped in front of where that ball was going. And I don't know if Love was just throwing it a little behind, or if the receiver was a little further along the route than he was supposed to be, but he just got in there and got that second one. So, crucial time that, players are going to make plays, and that's what they did.
Yep. And speaking of, yeah, another thing I want to talk about is the fans showing up to the Lambeau Field. Um, just looking out in the stands, you could see a lot of blue when the game started. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of fans. But they kind of panned out, and it's like, holy crap, there's a there's a lot of Detroit Lion fans there. And even yeah, after the game when they did the Amazon post game show, it was
Mm-hmm.
just it was loud, and like people were kind of, it was hard for them to talk, so they just stopped and they just let the fans do their chants. And yeah, that's pretty impressive to be like, we're one of those teams now to where the fans show up at away games to support this team.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things during the game for me, third or fourth quarter, you're just starting to hear the chant, "Let's go Lions." You're in
Yeah.
the middle of Lambeau Field, packed stadium, and you hear the chanting of "Let's go Lions." Can't say as I've ever heard that outside of Ford Field, but on a nationally televised game in a packed Lambeau Field, on a Thursday night, hearing that, it kind of sent tingles down your spine. It was just like, wow, like this is where the Lions are at right now. These fans are traveling, and they essentially took over Lambeau Field last night, which was freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was impressive indeed. But yeah, let's. You want to talk about some big news, Adam?
Oh yeah, breaking news right before we hit record too. So this is great.
It sounds like the NFL writers kind of noticed that, hey, the Lions are doing pretty good. Let's help them out, and they decided to lift the suspension of Jameson Williams early, and he's able to practice today if he wanted. But yeah,
Is it today or
he's
Monday? I
back.
think Monday is when he's eligible.
Well, either way, he's back.
Well, with
But yeah, might be
yeah,
Monday.
they readjusted they got like some new policies now in regards to the gambling disciplinary rules in the NFL. So that allows players like Jameson Williams, who is on suspension, to end it early and to essentially you can get back to practicing as soon as Monday. I know the Lions are taking a couple days off, so I'm so happy. Two games early. I hope they find a way to work him in. I hope it's not a slow rollout like they kind of did last year with him from the injury. Like, let's just throw him in there and just let's see what happens. Especially if he plays against the Carolina team. That is the team and game you want. I think you can test some stuff out on.
Yeah, they I don't think they're gonna slowly introduce him, but I think he'll have like a limited exposure. Like it won't be like a Amon-Ra St. Brown kind of deal where he's out there for 85% of the game. But yeah, I have a feeling like come Monday, even if they don't practice, like I feel like Jameson Williams is going to be there. He's going to be training, do whatever he can to get on that field next Sunday. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think he'll probably play. My big thing for me personally, I am like I love Jones Jr., but I think it's time for him to kind of hit that bench. Like I want to see Williams out there instead.
I mean, I was wondering if he'd be a casualty to Williams coming back. I love Marvin Jones Jr. You know, great dude. I was so happy that we re-signed him. I missed not having him for the few years he was down in Jacksonville. But the way this offense is going, and I think did he only have one target yesterday?
Yeah,
And he
he
didn't
did,
get it.
but last game too, I don't think he got any targets. Like they're not really using him.
I know, so it's tough. It is a business, so we'll see what they end up doing. It'll probably be the right decision, but I don't know. I am a little bummed at their usage of, or lack of thereof, of Marvin Jones Jr.
Yeah, and you know Marvin Jones, he's a veteran. I he's probably got to know like, hey, I'm probably done, which I don't
I
think
hope
he's
that's
got.
not the case. I know we
So
haven't used him, but I hope that's not the case because I still like him. I want him to still get some catches, but
yeah.
yeah,
Well, I
gotta do
mean,
what's best for the team.
you got. I think was it Antonio Green? Like they might kick him back to practice squad just to leave Jones on the roster. But yeah, who
Yeah,
knows?
we'll see.
But but yeah, let's talk about next week's game, week 5, Lions versus the Panthers. It is Sunday, October 8th, at 1 p.m. Thank God, so I can watch a game and not be tired the next day at work. And that is
Yeah, how much sleep did you get? I got 3 hours of sleep this morning, and I
I
rocked
got
this to work. I just got up, put this on. I was like, I'm going into work, and we're going to celebrate this Lions victory today.
I got like 4.5 hours, so
Oh, lucky
that was
you.
good. But yeah, but that is that's going to be aired on Fox. Speaking of the Panthers, they are 0-3 right now, so they're not looking good. They lost to the Seahawks, who are 2-1. It's 27-37. Panthers total yards for that game was 378 yards. 334 of that was passing, and 44 was rushing. So I don't know what the rush game is looking like, but doesn't sound too good. And I don't know how Bryce Young is doing, but he did not play during that game. They had who'd they have as a quarterback?
Who is their backup? It's not Dalton. It's
I think
I can't even remember.
I think it is Dalton. No, not Dalton,
Oh,
but
yeah, Andy Dalton. Yeah.
the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton.
Yeah, Red Rifle.
Okay. Right. But yeah, he knows how to pass, so that's
Rifle it.
yeah, rifle it down the field. But yeah, it sounds like Bryce Young is going to be back for this upcoming game. I haven't really caught too much in how he's doing, so I don't know if he's going to be cool, calm, or if the Lions get to him, he's going to start like kind of getting scared. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think this is the opportunity for Lions fans. I got to find that Minnesota Carolina game this weekend. Watch that, and you get to see a division opponent play. Get to see the next opponent, play as well. And I just based on this, I'm not scared of Carolina's running attack yet. I am afraid of Bryce Young's feet, but it does seem like Detroit's been able to kind of keep the running quarterbacks. They kept Mahomes in check. They kept Love in check because I feel like Love could make some plays with his feet, but they pretty much kept them in check. So I'm not too nervous about the run game with this Lions defense. So it's just a matter of how good is Bryce Young going to look. And Adam Thielen's been putting up numbers at the wide receiver position. So I think we just got to lock him down. And I feel like Detroit, depending on how Carolina looks against Minnesota, it should be a winnable game for Detroit. But again, I never want to count an opponent out. They're a young team, rookie quarterback. So we'll see if he stays healthy and makes it to week 5.
Yeah, it is the Panthers, and we all know what they did last year to us, so you never know.
Yeah.
But,
That's true.
Yeah, does Thielen, he line up in the slot or in the outside?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know if they've changed his role, like if he's more, wide receiver 1 where he's outside, or if he's still doing the slot stuff, which he's been doing in Minnesota for years. But I mean, clearly he's a favorite target, so he's the guy you got to shut down. I think that'll make everything else happen.
Yeah, if they have him lined up in the outside, I mean, Cam Sutton, he's doing one heck of a job this year. And if we can get Brian Branch back lining up in the slot against them, like, I'm not too worried. So
yeah, if that D line still gets the pressure they've been doing, like it almost isn't going to matter. This young rookie quarterback, you get him flustered enough, he might throw up a ball or two that are ill-advised, and it could be a 50-50. Like either we're going to pick it off, or maybe their receiver ends up getting it. But I think that's what you got to do. You got to rattle this rookie.
Yeah, and also another thing we aren't really talking about, Emmanuel Mosley, he might even be back for this game.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, be on the lookout for him too. So yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's it for this show. Adam, you want to close it out?
Yeah. Anything else you wanted to cover real quick before we go into those closing credits?
Besides them
Anything
actually kicking extra points, no, I'm good.
All right, everybody. Well, we hope you enjoyed this recap of the Lions versus Packers. Be sure to visit theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and more. If you want, you can also get in touch with us by sending an email to info@theworldoffootball.com, or you can connect with us by liking our Facebook account or following us on X. All those links are down in the description below. You can also check out our flagship podcast on our YouTube channel and our podcast feed, This Week in the World of Football, hosted by my father and myself. We talk about all things football. I'm sure we'll talk about this Lions game for sure. We'll talk about everything else that happens in the NFL, the Canadian Football League, and a bunch of other stuff happening. And now with this gambling suspension adjustment, I'm sure we'll talk about that on top of it. So a lot of stuff happening in the world of football, not just our Detroit Lions. So be sure to check that out every Tuesday. We put that up. So yeah, guys, be sure to go check that out on the podcast feed, YouTube channel, and again, all the links for everything down in the description. And hope to see you guys interact with us. We like the interactions.
Yep, and yeah, that's it for this week. If you don't want to watch these crappy Sunday games this week, I'd throw it out there. Rewatch this Lions game, have a feel good moment, get your blue Kool-Aid like I did, and what is it, Detroit there?
Oh,
so yeah,
that's nice class.
But yeah, that's it for this week. And remember, go Lions.
Yep, go Lions.